You excited? Did you get the knife? Cut the watermelon? You excited? You excited? You excited? Oh, whoa! Seeds on the place. That definitely, sorry, Toya picked those up. You saved them. That definitely looks sweet, huh? Is that delicious, Tobes? So after the epic failure of dropping the watermelon, we're saving the seeds here. Watermelon's really easy. You don't have to put it in water or anything because there's not gel on it. You can literally just take it out of the watermelon, rinse them off, set them out on a paper towel, dry them, and then seal them in a paper bag or a plastic bag and label it. You can see there's tons of seeds in here. So we'll have tons of food for next year. And this is pretty much with mostly all melons, unless you have like a cantaloupe that's encased in a gel or something like that. You might have to put it in a jar and let it ferment for a couple days to get that gel coating off. But this is how you save watermelon seeds. It's super easy. What do you think, Toby? Is it delicious? Does it get the seal of approval? Yum, yum. It is super sweet, guys. Melon? Oh my goodness gracious. But all these seeds came out from that half of that melon that Toby and I just kind of, what I'm doing here is just kind of rinsing it with the colander, trying to get all of like the debris out and stuff. And then I'm gonna put it in a glass jar with a bunch of water, and then whichever ones flow are gonna be the ones that aren't viable, and I'm gonna scoop them off the top and then save the rest on paper towel, dry them. Oh, I just had a catastrophe with the watermelon all over the floor. So while he sweeps, I literally, show you guys, see? So whatever floats to the top, I'm just scooping off and throwing that out because that's not viable seed, and of course don't want the debris in there. And then I'm just gonna literally take it out, put it on a napkin, and dry it out for at least a week before I put it in a plastic bag. So now let's talk about the peppers and how to save those seeds. So here I have several peppers. I have some bell peppers and I have some banana peppers. And you can see here, these banana peppers are all from the same variety of banana pepper, except they're all in different growing stages. So this is how we normally pick a banana pepper and how we eat it. And then if you leave it on the plant long enough, it will start changing red. And then it will change really, really red. And then when they're really mature and ready to pick the seeds, they kind of start to turn rubbery on the plant, and that's when you actually want to pick it and you want to harvest it. And these are the seeds that you want to save from the banana pepper or any kind of pepper. Same with the bell pepper. So this is like a green bell pepper, and this is from that same plant. It turned red. So a lot of times peppers, they will turn a degree of red, and that is when you want to save them, when they're kind of rubbery and they've turned red, they're fully mature on the plant. So literally what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the top of this pepper off. Okay, and you can see those are the seeds that you wanna save, fully mature pepper seeds. I'm gonna split this open down, and then I'm just gonna scoop the peppers out, the seeds, and put them on a plate to dry. And these are ready to go into a plastic bag just like that. Nothing special needed with peppers. And you can see there's not a whole ton of seeds in a pepper. Not really. Then this pepper is definitely not going to waste. I'm probably going to cook it with the black beans that I have here soaking for dinner. So now we're going to save some seeds from these fully mature cucumbers. And cucumbers are actually fully mature when they turn like yellow and they look nasty like this. You actually don't want to save seeds from cucumbers when they're nice and green and the way we normally eat them. So what I've done here is I've just cut the cucumber in half, and you can see like it has this jelly kind of material around the seed. And what that does is it actually prevents it from sprouting. So like in the wild, in nature, it gets to where it needs to go, or it gets down an animal's track or down your track, it gets pooped out, and then it gets where it needs to go. And then that coating protects it from breaking down inside of that animal's digestive system, so it can get to where it needs to get to and produce a new plant. So like with stuff like that, I'm just gonna roll this around and get the seeds to break out from that jelly material. Oh, isn't that yummy? So that's definitely not gonna go to waste. My chickens love that. If you have chickens, don't let it go to waste. Either give it to your chickens or put it in your compost. I have all the seeds I could want to plant for all the cucumbers for this variety out of just that one fully mature cucumber. So like with all this nasty stuff, I'm actually gonna just scoop it into a ball jar, and you're gonna do this with like all of your seeds that have this gelatinous coating on it, like tomatoes, some type of melons, like cantaloupe. Not all melons have it. You don't have to do it with watermelon like I showed you earlier. You can just dry those. You don't have to do this method. And I'm gonna get this all in the ball jar, and then I'm gonna fill it with water. I actually don't know what type or variety of cucumber it is. I actually got this one from my neighbor, Clyde. So I guess it's a Clyde's cucumber. And that's literally gonna sit there for like 2 days. Don't want it to go any longer. I'm gonna ferment it for about 2 days. And what that does is it gets all this good bacteria in here, which takes these coatings off the seed. So you can dry it and you can save it and it'll be ready to plant next year. And I should mention, fermenting kind of stinks up the kitchen sometimes. If you don't want it to stink, you can put it in like a cool dark spot, like the cabinet. And you also want to make sure you kind of come here once or twice a day and you swish this around for those 2 days in between until you pull this out. You rinse this again, and then all the seeds that float to the top actually are going to be the non-viable seeds. So you want to just take a spoon and scoop those off the top and all the other stuff after you run it through the strainer, and then you could dry them on your paper towel or plate, or a piece of wax paper is probably easier because it will stick to this and be a pain to get off, and then you can put them in your plastic bags to save for next year. I'm going to come in the garden. Toby just went down for a nap. I'm going to collect some sunflower heads for their seeds. Callie forgot. I need to grab scissors first. This is like my juncture of all my gardening tools. These look like they're cured really nicely. They're getting hard. Took them out of the sun yesterday because it started to pour because I didn't want them to get more wet, but they've definitely hardened up nicely, so that's good. I'll see that. I don't know, is it a yellow finch? Oh, he just moved. Oh, dang it. And I dropped my apple. A lot of times I see those really pretty yellow finches out here sitting on these sunflowers, just picking at the seeds. That's how I know that my sunflowers are ready to peck to collect for the seeds. So I'm just gonna do like a little seed saving video and just talk about several different types of seeds and how to save them. So like with sunflowers, you can see here the finches actually got most of the seeds already, but you can see there are several viable seeds right here. So what the sunflowers heads will do is they'll drop low, and all of them will kind of get shriveled up and will turn like kind of a yellowy color. And you can actually leave these on here. You can tie paper bag to them. I've done that before, and the seeds will normally just fall straight out of the head into the bag, and that way it's covered from the birds, but sometimes the birds will peck through the bag. So you can just come out here and look for heads that are drooping, that are dried out, and sometimes you might get before the birds, and sometimes you might only get some seeds. So like this one, it looks like it's starting to develop seeds. You see that right there? Like if you pull these back, look, there's all seeds under there. And so these ones might not be quite mature yet because the birds haven't started picking at them yet. But like that one obviously was mature. And like this one, this head is completely drooped. I've been eyeing this one. The birds haven't been able to get to this one because it's kind of in a position where they can't fly up and get to it. So literally what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it off right here. If I can get it with my scissor. I might have to put you guys down for a second. Okay, cut that off. You can just see that the birds are eating over here all the time. You see these sunflower holes? They just come here and crack them open. But like this one is completely, totally ready to harvest, and there's tons of mature seed heads in there. So like here, it looks like I've got some of those cosmos seeds, the orange and yellow gigantic cosmos that have gone to seed. So like with this one, literally all I'll do is just pop the head of it off, and I'll save these seeds and put them in a plastic baggie and make sure I label them. And pretty much what they'll do is they'll just die back and they'll make seeds, and then you could pop the heads off, or what you could do is just take them out and you can kind of sprinkle them all over the area, and most likely they'll probably come back up here again next year. And like with this guy right here, it looks like a lot of them already have dropped off here on the ground. And so a lot of flowers and herbs are really good at doing that on their own, reseeding, even though they're annual. So I'll probably have more volunteers that come up here next year, but I'm gonna go ahead and harvest this. And this one is definitely ready. Can y'all see how massive this plant is? It's gotta be 10 feet tall now. Like, there's the bottom. And oh, there's the top flower, which is absolutely stunning. And look at this one too, just it's so tall. Look at that. Just so stunning. Just so stunning. So I'll have plenty to plant next year of this variety. Like, I'll show you with this one. This one is obviously not quite ready yet. It still has yellow flowers on it. But you can see it's starting to make seeds. But this is not ready to pick. You want to do it when its head is completely dropped low. All of these have died back and dried out. And this green part is starting to turn yellow and nasty and definitely looks like it's drying out. So this one's not ready. So this one's definitely ready. The birds have already picked at it mostly. I'm going to go and cut this off because by cutting more of these off, it's telling the plant to make more flowers. Let's see. Look at that beautiful sunflower seed head, just loaded with tons of mature sunflower seeds. All I could ever want to plant next year. There's probably like 100 or more seeds in here. But sometimes I like to do is I like to pull back like that dying pollen so the seeds can be exposed, because that kind of makes the drying process go a little bit faster. So you guys can see here, I already have in my herb and my canning cabinet, and I already have several sunflowers that I've already picked the heads, and I'm just letting them sit here on this sheet to dry. And you can do that. You can just set them here and let them dry even more and pull them out, or you could pull them out and set them on a paper towel or on something like this, just to ensure they're more dry for several days before you go on and put them in a plastic bag. So like these ones, I'm just gonna hang upside down. You can see it's kind of my trend here. I like to hang things upside down. Here's some sweet goldenrod that I wild foraged off the property. So I just did an experiment for you guys because I've actually never collected sunflower seeds this way before. I usually just like either cut them off and put them in the cabinet like I showed you and let them dry completely on the heads. Sometimes I hang them upside down, and like I said, I'll tie paper bags on them and I'll let the seeds fall off. And I do this for all cone type of flowers. But I split this flower open that we just picked off, and I kind of like slowly went like this and got all these seeds out. But it was definitely a lot more tedious and a lot more difficult, and these are all sticky and such like that. So I think probably it's easier just to let the sunflowers dry and let the seeds drop naturally into a bag, or wait till they're dried until you peel them out. So like these little tiny black, tiny skinny things, those are those cosmo seeds. Isn't that crazy that that plant is produced from these tiny little seeds? Just gonna go label it on the plate. Evening sun flower, and these are orange and yellow. Cosmos gigantic. Make sure you put them in a dry, cool, preferably dark spot, like my herb cabinet. And see if I can find a spot here. I'm actually doing an experiment here, guys. I have taken a bag of store-bought black beans, and I'm gonna see if I can get them to sprout and plant them in the garden. So that should be an interesting video. So now we're gonna talk about how to save seeds from like melons, cantaloupes, stuff like that. This excludes watermelons. This includes the melons that have like those gelatinous coatings around the seeds. This is I'm probably gonna butcher it, French melon. It's called Charente. I think that's how you say it. It's an heirloom. But my neighbor gave me several of these, and I actually saved the seeds from the last one already directly sowed them in the garden, and I have them popping up. And it is splitting, it's very ripe. And normally I just cut it completely down the middle. So this is what the inside looks like. And you can see it's kind of got the little bit of the jelliness around the seeds. And I'm literally gonna scoop these out with a spoon, including the flesh and everything. And I'm going to put them in a ball jar again with some water, and I'm going to do that fermentation process that I showed you with the cucumbers and the tomatoes. Now you don't have to do this because I actually have successfully. Last time I literally just scooped these out, rinsed these to the colander a couple times, and I literally put them straight into the ground and they popped up. So you don't have to do it, but it definitely would make the process of getting these to sprout probably a lot faster. These are so sweet. I'm so glad I decided to plant these in the garden. That's spooned out. And just put some water in that. You guys are laughing. My sink is always dirty. And that's because I have a pre-toddler. All right, I'll just set these in like a dark spot in your kitchen, not in the direct sunlight. I'm gonna put them, these are our tomatoes that we did yesterday and our cucumbers. Give them a shake with these over here.